All right, everyone, it looks like we're about to go on. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone listening, big family members, friends, and everyone else who is on our live. My name is Alexandria Barnett, and I am the Director of Public Relations here at Blacks In Cybersecurity headquarters. And I am with Michaela Barnett, our CEO and founder, and our other beautiful, awesome panel members for BWIC month. So I'm super excited to have all of you. Let's go ahead and get into Women's Society of Cyber Jitsu as they have a short presentation.
Hello, thanks so much, and thank you, Vic, for allowing us to come. I'm Shamla Boyd. I'm a founding board member of Women's Society of Cyber Jitsu, DMV chapter. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on empowering women to fearlessly enter, advance, and lead in cybersecurity careers. We do this by offering hands-on training, study groups, networking sessions. We have Slack groups, and we provide discounted training platforms. If you're interested in membership or want to know more about our events, please come to our website at womenscyberjitsu.org. Thank you. Thanks for allowing us to be here.
No problem. That was awesome. Learning more about your guys' organization, excuse me. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and let everyone else introduce themselves and have a short bit about their organizations. We can start with Lillian. I just see you first.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, BIC, for having me here today. I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Okay, my name is Lillian Douglas. I am one of the co-founders of She Secures. I am based in Ireland and I am a security engineer. I am more of a malware analysis and threat hunting, and I would dive into what She Secures does. So She Secures is, we at She Secures, we're all about creating awareness. We are trying to, get more women into cybersecurity, especially the African women, and we want them to get excited about taking up cybersecurity roles. So how do we do this? Like, we do this by creating internship opportunities, job opportunities for women in cybersecurity. We create networking opportunities, and we also try to give them the technical and leadership skills that would encourage them, have this experience, that's the experiences and the technical skills that are needed in the market. We also do a lot of cyber literacy. We do digital literacy as well, where we share a lot of content on the internet to keep the to keep people on the internet safe online. We also offer mentoring sections for the ladies in our in our platform. We try to get them excited about taking up roles in cybersecurity as well. So basically, we're trying to bridge the gender discrepancy gap in cybersecurity. We want more women to be able to be good, not just take up the cybersecurity role, but be good at what they do. Yep. So that's what we do, and that's how we try to, and that's how we try to achieve our goal. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Next up, I believe we have Sadea organization. Hope I'm saying that correctly.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm just waiting to share my screen. And then we can go. Okay, so hello everyone, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Stephanie Itimi. I am the founder of Sadea. We've been in practice since 2018, starting as in our local library, and now we've kind of grown into a membership of 741 women worldwide. We focus on helping Black and minority ethnic women transition into cybersecurity, so working at the very early stage of their career. And we do this through providing tailored job roles through our job board, working with cybersecurity industry members, mostly in the UK and Europe. We also offer coaching packages to help graduates and those who are transitioning into cybersecurity. And we also have a resource hub with our monthly podcast, which focuses more on personal security and ways Black and minority ethnic women can ramp up their personal security. We also do monthly industry events where we get members, mostly in the UK, and cybersecurity experts to come and talk about their career journey, but also recruitment tips as well. And finally, we offer virtual internships, work programs to help women gain those experience that they need to get into the sector. This is just a little impact gallery of the work that we do. And thank you so much for allowing me to enter and speak today. Thank you very much.
No problem. That was excellent. Thanks so much for letting us learn more about your organization. I think next we have Anya. If I'm saying that correctly, I apologize.
Yeah, hi, this is Ani Biyambi. I do not have a current organization, but I do try to mentor people that do reach out to me on LinkedIn, asking for career advice and to getting into cybersecurity. And usually it's a Black female or Black male. I have over 7 years of experience in the cybersecurity field. I mostly, my background is mostly in the policy side of cybersecurity. So I'm not a programmer or anything like that. And that's about it. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, no problem. I totally understand on the techie side. I'm just getting into that as well. And I believe next we have Deidre or Shamala.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, thank you. I'm Deidre Fayel. I forgot to have a slide, but I'm excited to be here today. So my background is in IT, pretty much expands over 14 years in I5 in cyberspace. Some of the IT areas that I have worked in are software development and testing, requirement and risk management, data visualization and analytics. I've done some FISMA work, information security, awareness training, and development. I am currently administrator over the cyber management analytics portal at my agency. I currently work for the federal government, and that portal is a set of interactive dashboards that enable cybersecurity leadership to easily manage and monitor the business of cybersecurity. In addition, I am also the lead over the Strategic Hiring Initiative and Employee Learning and Development Program, which is the SHIELD program, which launched in April of 2020. And this program is basically a training opportunity for new hires across the GS5 through GS12 levels to build their critical skills and abilities in the cybersecurity workforce. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for letting us get to know more about you. I believe, is that everyone who is speaking? I'm sorry, I can't see all of our participants, so I just want to give everyone a chance.
As Tamika is here.
Hi, Tamika. Okay.
How you doing? Hi, Sherma. Oh, we got disabled on the screen for screen share. All right. Thank you. Tamika Reed, I am founder of Women in Linux. We've been around now 5 years. I've been in the industry 21 years doing Linux administration, system administration, building out data centers and skips. We meet every Wednesday we have our links out here on meetup.com. We meet every Wednesday from 7 to 9. Where we talk about everything, and we do hands-on training from in terms of DevSecOps, Splunk, anything surrounding infrastructure as code and automation, including Terraform and Vault. We do have a YouTube channel as well too. We post our stuff out on YouTube if you want to check us out on YouTube from anything that we've done over the past 5 years. And you can find us at Women in Linux on all social media. From Instagram to LinkedIn and Twitter and anything else I could possibly think of for social media except for TikTok. we're not on TikTok, I can tell you that. But in our organization, we do leadership training. We do one-on-one. We have multiple talks about just, how to break into the industry. What are you looking for? How to maneuver and how to pivot. So that's a little bit about us. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem. It's been awesome getting to know you and your organization. So we'll go ahead and get started in our part. First of all, has everybody who is introducing themselves gone yet? I just want to make sure everyone has had an opportunity.
Okay. From what I can tell.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get in deep dive into our conversation. And one of our first questions I'd love to get started with is, what are some skills you feel are critical for a cybersecurity career? Anybody can get started and start us off with this, but like we said, it's pretty round robin, open panel here. We love to start with a great conversation. So again, reiterating our question, what are some skills you feel are critical for a security career?
I'll start. Hi, this is Deidre again. So some skills, I think a lot of times in cybersecurity, we're so technical that we forget about these soft skills. So I think soft skills pretty much represent core values. They drive the business. So what some of the soft skills are, your critical and analytical thinking skills, asking those hard questions and being able to take those small details and bringing it all together. And then some others are being creative, desire to learn and research. And the biggest one I had was teamwork and collaboration. So I think we, in the cyber world, we're all technical, but we forget about those soft skills, which is pretty much what drives the business.
Yeah, I agree with you, Deidre. Yeah, my answer to that would be research and your analytical skills as well. Because I do have, like, my current boss, she doesn't have a background in, like, she doesn't have her master's or her bachelor's in cybersecurity. She's an English major, but she got into the field because I guess she was really good at writing. And I think your technical writers, like, that's also an important skill set to have when it comes to the cybersecurity field as well.
Oh, I think that's really interesting. Myself, coming in as our Director of Public Relations here at BIC, had a little to none technical background, but over the last 2 years, I really have been able to cultivate that and restoring my iMac and learning a little bit more about terminals on Terminal Tuesday with Michaela. So I totally understand having a non-technical background and then being able to cultivate that.
And another thing is just you have skills can transfer over into cybersecurity. So you may think really good writing skills, how is that gonna work with cybersecurity? Those are transferable.
That's a really great point. A lot of people, you go to school for something and you realize that you're not really going to be able to use it or find the job that you want, but you can pivot and take those skills that you learned for whatever major or minor that you chose and transfer that over to cybersecurity. So that's a really great point. Thank you.
And I'll say the ability to learn, to be able to learn and unlearn is very important because you should be teachable, So I think coming with a mindset that, yes, I'm ready to learn and I want to be teachable, it's going to go a long way.
Thanks, Lillian. So I know I interjected. My name is Alana Scott. I'm the Director of Operations for Blacks In Cybersecurity, and I'm co-hosting with Alex this evening. Alex asked her question. I'm going to selfishly jump to my favorite question. I am quite a book nerd. So I'd like to ask, is there a technical or non-technical book you believe is a must read for any working professional in cyber?
I do have a book. It's called Managing Risks in Information Security by Malcolm Harkins. If you have Apple book, it's free on the Apple bookstore. I think it gives you a great overview of like risk within an organization and then how to secure the organization. So I think that's a really good book for the non-technical side of cybersecurity. And also I have my mentor, Dr. Mansour Hasib. He does have a book called Leadership in Cybersecurity, and he focuses more on being a leader in cybersecurity and I guess honing in on your leadership skills, being able to have provide your knowledge, and also being a good public speaker when it comes to cybersecurity as well. So those are my two books that I have for recommendation.
So the books that I have that are the only thing I can think about with tech, it was a lot of other books. There's Playbook by ones are the first one, Questions Change Your Life, because it's really good. And then what I'm listening to now is I'm listening to an Audible, Surrounded by Idiots. And it's crazy. It's a book about the 4 types of human behavior and how to effectively communicate with each in business and life. Those are the 2 books I would recommend.
Okay, so for those of you who have already said your books, do you mind just dropping them in the chat so I can share it with others on YouTube? And the same for anyone else who's going to contribute their books. Once you let us know, if you don't mind just typing in the chat as well so I can share it with our listeners. Okay, were there any other books? If not, we can move on to the next question. Can you all hear me okay?
Indeed. I hear you just fine.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'm going to go to the next question. I hope I didn't cut anyone off. It seems like, and people are letting us know, we're having a little bit of audio issues. Is anyone else having issues?
Oh, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. I'll move on to the next question for now then. What are some of the barriers that you faced during your period in cybersecurity?
I can speak on that.
Okay.
Some of the barriers I faced were me barriers. And that barrier, when I say it from that perspective, I'm simply saying it from not willing to put myself out there, and this is starting out because it's not, and it's not I don't want to say it's necessarily was a fear of failure. It was just a fear of like of perfection, right? Like we have a tendency to want things to be perfect or moving in a perfect realm when we don't have to. So, take off the perfection off yourself, sit back and relax. And I don't want to say lean in, but push forward and just be willing to go with the flow. Like in terms of like, hey, if something fails, it's okay because you learn and you bring success to yourself from that failure. Those are some of the barriers and I think that's an ongoing barrier that you face throughout your journey in tech personally, until you become a little bit more aware of like, okay, what are the consequences of those actions versus like, okay, I'm just going to go all in. I think you learn that over time though.
Oh, I love that answer. I don't think we've gotten that answer before. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mine is kind of like Tamika said, but mine is like the imposter syndrome. So sometimes I feel like I don't know enough, or yeah, pretty much like I don't know enough, so I feel like I can't speak up or talk about certain topics because I can't, or I can't help with a certain issue because I don't know enough about the issue to like help solve it. So sometimes I kind of like sit back and just like watch versus, just, getting in there and then learning as I go along. So I think that's mine, is like the fear of the imposter syndrome for me.
So mine will be not being able to prioritize my learning goals. So because there's a lot to learn, and you want to keep up to date with the latest trend, the latest hack, the latest um, attack that has happened, and there's so many things to learn. So my challenge, mine would be not being able to, prioritize the most important thing I need to learn first, because it got to a point that I was overwhelmed with the resources I had and I did not know where to start. So I would say, being able to, okay, plan say for the next 1 month, for the next 2 months, I want to learn this particular thing and give it your all before taking up a new curriculum to learn. So I'd say, yeah, that was one of the borders I had.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a really good example. When you go to school, you're taking so many different classes at the same time. You feel like you can just transfer that same type of learning style into the workforce. But I think it is a really great idea to just kind of hone in on one thing and master it instead of trying to multitask or learn all the things at one time, because then you end up not really learning much of either. That was a really great answer. Thank you.
Hey everyone, this is Alex. Just making sure you can hear me. I've been booted, but I'm back in, so I want to make sure.
Yep. Can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, sweet. If you guys finished with that last question, and we can move into our next conversation?
Sure, taking your lead.
Okay, awesome. So I know we discussed, issues or barriers within cyber. So our next question would be, how do you approach the complex problems and challenges in your area of focus? And also, are you red team, blue team, purple team, etc.?
Yes, hi, this is Ani. So I don't know what team I'm on. I'm more, I guess, risk management slash compliance team. So I mostly deal with, and my line of work is policy and in making sure that people are following what's in the policy when it comes to cybersecurity. So I guess one of my issues is, I guess, showing the importance of security to like any organization that you work for. Sometimes you get drawback because your developers or your networking team, they don't want to, basically they don't want to add a level, whatever level of security you need added, because it might break the system or it might make something slower or it might take more time. And I think overcoming those, that issue is pretty much showing them what, like, the importance of security and starting like at the beginning, when you're building the system or whatever, is starting at the beginning and making sure the security team is involved in the beginning. That time when, if let's say you're done building your system, whatever organization, and you bring security later on, then you will have more issues to deal with, because then you might have to go back and implement certain security items, and you might not be able to, you'll be able to do it, but then you might get more drawbacks. And I feel like it's easier to do it towards the beginning. So whatever issues you have, you guys can talk it out and see, maybe you can accept certain level of risk within your organization. So I guess mine is showing them the importance of having security, and just like talking it out and figuring out like a way to compromise, and not necessarily having like a vulnerability in the system, or making the level of risk lower.
So I'll go next. So because I'm the lead over a cyber career development program, tracking is a major challenge for my team. So, you know, a lot of data issues, inconsistencies, a lot can go wrong. So I have created a dashboard in Tableau. I don't know if you all ever heard of Tableau, but utilizing Tableau with cybersecurity skills, abilities, and knowledge has definitely helped us to keep track in real time. Another thing, with the complex problems and the challenges is communication. A lot of times problems exist because it's a miscommunication. So recognizing that you need to communicate with all teams, not just your team that you're working with. And then another thing is recognizing the small wins. A lot of times, you know, if something is small, you think, oh, that's minor. We didn't do that. Just recognizing those small wins can definitely help with complex problems and challenges as well.
Another way to get through those complex problems and challenges is document everything that you do. Keep a daily journal of your problems. So if you have a template in your journal where you have the problem, possible solutions or tests, you could say, and then solutions. What that allows you to do is now you have a journal of things that you've done. You're pretty much creating a scientist or being using a scientific method. But what that does is that gives you a journal of what you tried. It also gives you a journal for when it comes to now for your yearly review of what you've accomplished, what you've not accomplished, things that you struggled with, things that you know you're going to need more training with. And then on top of that, it also gives you the idea of what you thought you couldn't do, you can do. So it also helps boost your confidence. So those are just little nuances and tidbits that I've found over time that has helped myself, and I always offer this up to others.
I like that, Tamika. I really like that. I think I'm going to start implementing that because I rarely write down my, like when I do have problems, I don't write them down and the issue down. So I really like that.
And they make for great interview conversations. So you can always reflect back and use the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. So you can always reflect back to that, that what you did, the nuances, the things that occurred, who were the stakeholders, how did you accomplish it, how did you put out fires, what fires were created. At least gives you that ability to understand, you know, the big picture and breaking it down.
That's
Right,
true.
Tamika, I think you know that you're going to have to repeat the STAR method. You know, you just kind of ran through it like we all know it. So you're going to have to run it just one more time.
STAR method is it actually comes out of Amazon. You can go look up their leadership principles. It's just, to me, it's just a good way to quantify. You can switch these things out however you feel. But it is situation being S, T being task, A being action, and R being result. So, you know, when you're basically in your interviewing or even in your template in your book, if you're in your journal, if you're writing it down, even if you're using Evernote or some type of a text or Word document, you know, think of the problems in that way. And I add in stakeholders to this because you now you're defining customers, and customers come in many forms. Customers can be external, customers can be internal, customers can be a group of teams. So when you're defining this, you also get a chance to quantify, you know, who you were working with and the number of people you were working with.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I am a blue teamer, and one of the way I approach complex problem is to start by understanding the root cause before I solve the problem. So I'll give you an example. Say I get a malicious code alert. I want to know why. Okay, I have a malicious code alert here. What triggered this alert? What code is this? Is this code malicious or not? So I'm trying to paint a picture, Okay, I find out that the code is not malicious. Okay, so what system triggered this alert? Why did the system trigger this alert? Is it trying to bypass something? What is this code doing? So I'm trying to paint a picture here to understand what really happened. I'm trying to understand the root cause of the of what has happened so that I'll be able to understand how to solve the problem. So for me, it's just trying to find out the root cause of what have happened and solving it from there. Thank you.
I was gonna say also, like I know I struggle sometimes with asking for help. So if you do have like some kind of complex issue that you have absolutely no idea how to solve it, it's okay to go to your manager or somebody that you know that has the knowledge and ask them questions to help you understand the issue and to help you solve the problem as well. So it's okay to ask for help.
Ooh, I guess that's tricky for me. I think I agree with you. I think you should be able to ask for help. Is there a time where you shouldn't ask for help? Do you kind of have to just feel that out depending on your work environment? Has that ever backfired?
It hasn't backfired for me because for me, like that's like my last resort. Usually I try to figure out the problem first, how to solve it. And if I feel like stuck and I just cannot, then that's when I'll ask for help. So I feel like that should be your last resort unless you're new and you have like no idea how to do something. Then it's best to either like look at whatever your handbook, your guidelines, and then go to your manager. But yeah, you should feel the situation out and based on your environment and how the team work. If you have some kind of, because I know like people with like from different jobs, you may have somebody that's like on your corner that's willing to help you. So if you have that person, be willing to like ask them for help as well. So
that's a really good point there, to say that you make sure you do your research, make sure you've done what you can do to try to find the answer. We're not just saying immediately, oh, I don't know, ask somebody. Try to figure it out on your own, and then you can go to your manager or whomever you trust to say, hey, I have tried this. I've looked in this place and I didn't find the answer. Do you think you'll be able to help me? I think that was really good advice. I think for that, I even had a manager tell me, if you spend 15 minutes looking for something, you can't find it, then you need to ask, because now you're just wasting time. So don't try to be so perfect where then you don't get your work done.
That's true. That's true.
That is so true. And I think that's pretty much when it backfires, when you're like, okay, I showed you this and now you don't know what to do, but you can ask questions and then you go back to them and like, okay, so how do I do this again? So, yeah, that's when it right.
So guys, we do have some questions from YouTube, from our people watching live, that I would love to share with us just to continue our conversation. Our first question that we have from them, we can start with this, is how do you balance making your opinions known without being viewed as too demanding and at the same time not being walked over because you're too timid?
I don't think there's a blanket answer for that, because I also think it's manager dependent or person dependent or colleague dependent, but I give you my view on it, on how I feel about it. And this is what I call Tamika take, right? So you don't have to do what I do, but this is my take. My take is, well, I really don't care about your feelings, in terms of what I'm saying. If I know that I'm coming across with care, and I am being gracious when I'm listening to you, and hopefully you're listening to me, and state who I am, I'm just not going to waver with what and this is not a feel thing, what I know to be correct, because I've done my research and I put it out there. And if you still dismiss it at that point, that to me, that's on you. Will I be mad? Yeah, but at some point, either A, you're gonna get tired of being combative, and we're gonna have to have a meeting about it, which usually happens. And then we'll have to have a sit down with someone else in the room to kind of diffuse the situation. Like I say, these are Tamika takes. These are situations that I've been in. I've learned not to waver on that. And do you come across as the bully or the angry person or whatever the case may be? I think that's person dependent, but that's just my take.
So for me, I'm not really the person that likes to share my opinion on things. I kind of like, I guess maybe you'll call me timid, but I'm not really timid. I'm more like observe and then respond. So depending on how, I feel like you should just be yourself, but in a, I guess, in a professional environment. But now a lot of organizations are like okay with you being yourself, but with, like, you know, as a Black woman, we're not really comfortable being ourselves at work. So I'll say just observe, and then based on that, if your opinion is warranted, then just give your opinion. And I don't think you should, like, you wouldn't sound too demanding or too timid, and you wouldn't be walked all over as well. Just be strong in your opinion. Like if you feel like something is, like, you believe in it, then just stay strong in your opinion. Or if you think, like, if you know you're right, then stay strong in your opinion. And if you're wrong, then, you know, later on you can apologize. But I feel like if you believe in something, you should just stick to it and just be confident in what you have to say, pretty much.
So for me, I don't really sugarcoat anything. So it's just like it is what it is.
Facts.
So it is. I'm just gonna tell you like it is, and that's just who I am. So I'm not gonna tell you a lie, like don't do that, or yeah, I'm not gonna tell you a lie. I'm just not gonna sugarcoat anything. And how you're gonna feel about me is just how you're gonna feel about me. That's just my opinion, though. That's just me. So that's how I feel. And then another thing is the tone of the way you present your opinions. So you have to watch that as well. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to tell you like it is.
Just, you know, just being sure you're not deliberately hurting someone's feelings when you're talking. That's why I say you have to be gracious, but you know, that comes with a double-edged sword, because you know that person may not be gracious towards you. And so in that moment, you have to figure out who you are and how you're feeling about that at that moment. But, you know, wordplay is always great.
Agreed.
So another question that was in the live that everyone is asking. Let me pull that up for you guys. The next question would be, how do you handle how do you handle your knowledge being discredited by male counterparts if that occurs? So I'll just leave that open as well.
I think for me, it's the same thing. Have I had that happen? More than often. But I'm also a person that will like to have a dialogue as to why that is wrong. You know, I'm always about the why. You know, why is something that I'm saying wrong, so that I can always go back to the source and look it up for myself. Um, and that's just me. And will people do that? Probably. It depends on who it is. The other part of that being discredited is there's always a root cause, and sometimes that root cause may be a conflict that you have with that person, or just people are just who they are. So the other part of that is actually sitting down and talking to the person to find out what it is. And I've had to do that plenty of times where, you know, hey, let's have a one-on-one and find out what it is. You know, for me, I rather for me to know upfront what I'm dealing with versus waiting till I get down the road and get stabbed in the back. Personal take there.
Has no one else experienced being discredited by a male counterpart at this point?
I haven't.
I haven't neither, but I guess I would, if I was, I would make sure that I'm confident in, you know, what I'm saying with my knowledge that I'm presenting. And if I need a documentation, that's probably what I will provide. But I've never experienced this, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can say like in the Linux arena, because like, but be honest, like I think I know for a fact the other day Let me see. This is okay. Yep. So in the Linux arena, I've only met 2 Black women in 21 years. So the discredit for me working in the field happens often. So you have to learn how to maneuver and pick people, out of, prior to that. It's just what has happened. It's just what I've seen. And so, with that being said, you're very clear about how you communicate, what you say, your research. Is it pressure on you? Yes and no. The no part is the fact that I want to make sure I'm doing something right because I'm providing a solution to a customer. So I'm gonna make sure the calculations or whatever I'm doing is correct. The other part of that is when you're dealing with someone who's aiming to discredit you. Like I say, there are other issues that go along with that. And so those issues could be I've been in places where I was the first Black woman that they ever met. So, so you have to take into consideration, well, what does that really mean? How do you interact with that? What is this interaction going to be like? So you have to, make sure that you are, you know, doing your part and making sure that's clear. As far as the discredit goes, that is gonna come, but just make sure that you do your part. And if you have to escalate that, don't be afraid to escalate it. That's my own personal take.
Okay, well, I'm very curious, and if you don't have an answer, it's okay. I was working in a very large enterprise environment, and you come across a lot of keyboard bullies, and those situations are usually nipped in the bud by getting up from your desk, going and knocking on the door, and all of the energy that was in the email and CC to everyone suddenly disappears. So have any of you, what have you done? Have you had to do anything? Have you had to call anyone on the phone for that type of situation? I could be off base completely, but I'm just curious based on what you guys have said so far.
I can let someone else go, or I can say. The keyboard bullies, yeah, those are the ones that I tend to actually, I'm not, when it gets to that part where people are keyboard bullies, I like to bring in a third party, somebody who is neutral from either party, so we can have a clear and decent conversation. And the reason why I do that is because now whatever is being said, either you're gonna either back down or you're gonna keep that same fire. So if you're gonna keep that same fire, at least I have someone else that can witness that fire that you have. But I also bring in the emails and ask, and this is why I keep a journal. This is where the journal comes in of what's being said and how it's being said, and that energy that you're giving. I want to know where's the source of that, and where is that coming from. And so it does happen where the person actually backs down and has no more to say. But I also have found when you have that meeting, that energy tends to stay away, because now it's like, okay, you're willing to go that extra mile, and I just really want to see how far you were going to go. And I have had men actually say, I just want to see how far you were going to go, how far you were going to let me continue to do what I was doing. And I was like, well, I don't know why you thought I was that person, but you picked the right one, and I'm okay with that. And I can live with that.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't think I've experienced that, but if that were to happen to me, I probably would do like Tamika said, I'll just go back and forth and include a third party. And then we can take it from there. And if we have to have a conference meeting or something like that, then that would happen. But if you're gonna bully me, then I'm gonna fight back. I'm not gonna just let you get away with it. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Like I hate the keyboard bullies. I'm just like, and the one thing that you shouldn't do is email back. Do not email back and CC everybody. But I definitely, a meeting needs to happen. I need to confront this person, and we need to just go ahead and figure out what's going on. So I agree. Let's set up the meeting. We don't have to CC everybody. Let's just have the meeting to talk about it.
Okay, thank you. Those are wonderful answers. I know I've dealt with that at work, and you can get caught up, and you just want to type everything back and CC everyone.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That is not taking the high road. So, moving on along here, do you have any advice on how corporations and or the security industry can hire more Black people or people of color?
So I can go. So for me, I think is having some sort of like pipeline with like HBCUs to get like, grads, like upcoming graduates to like some kind of internship, and then like mentoring them into getting into the company, and then like staying long-term after their internship. So that's like one way. And then another way would be like knowing, knowing your diversity number. So like, for example, currently I work for Booz Allen, and we didn't have like many, like pretty much if you look at, the pyramid, all the top leaders, there's basically like no Black person, right? So I guess this year with the whole movement that's been going on and things like that, they recently hired promoted like 6 Black women to vice president within the company. And I thought, I like that, but then I was like, why did it take you guys like that long to have your first Black female VP? So to me, I kind of look at it sideways as well. So I think like promoting people of color as well, because when you promote it and you have the hiring ability, then you're able to hire other Black people, because that's usually how the white counterpart do it as well. They have the hiring ability, so they're able to hire their white counterpart to become part of the company as well.
So some of my ideas I had going into, like, I think it starts with like the high schools, like going into the low income high school districts, and where there is a lack or an absence of technology, and just teaching those kids about the cyberspace and cybersecurity, because they don't really know about that, that space. They just know about what they're learning. Another thing I said was to hire like diversity coordinators. I know a lot of private schools now, they have diversity coordinators to create that change and that diversity at the school. So I think that's a really good idea. And then the last thing I think I had was a lot of the jobs, like their HR departments. I just think they need to rethink on how they're doing things from the ground up, like looking at the candidates, who are they considering, how are they interviewing, and the job postings for cybersecurity, all of the experience that's needed. I just think all of that needs to change to bring more Black people into the cyberspace.
No, when it comes down to the situation with the pipeline, I've seen this, and it happens often, where it's not necessarily a pipeline issue; it's an exposure issue. I run into people all the time that really just that are graduating with degrees in computer science, or they're graduating with degrees in computer engineering, and have no idea about how to use the cloud, or how to use, or what is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is so vast. And so when we're talking about, how to get more people, or what our approach should be, I think we have to really do a better job of taking the big terms out and putting it in, I don't want to call it layman terms, but putting in ways that are meaningful for people to make the transition. I was on the phone to 3 o'clock in the morning with a young lady. We were on a Zoom and a couple other people, and she has a master's degree in 2 patents, and she wants to get into tech, and she didn't know that, you know, these different avenues even existed to get into tech. And so I think as part of this, I think there's still a sense of mystery when it comes to what can be done. And a lot of people say, hey, you just need to go do research. Well, you can go do research all you want, but what I found is most people go do research and still don't know. So they spend 6 months researching, they spend 3 months researching or whatnot. And then they come across a boot camp. And I've seen people say, hey, I spent $40,000 to go to this boot camp, and they're going to teach me the Network Plus and the A Plus, and I'm going to get my Security Plus, and I'm going to be a cybersecurity engineer. But they already have a master's degree. So now you're caught up in this pipeline. So I think a lot of marketing has happened on boot camps. One. The other piece to this is I think a lot of miscommunication and a lot of misinformation is out there. So I think as people who are in tech and engineers in tech, I think we owe it to others around us to make sure we get rid of the fluff and the mystery and just give people the facts and not the mystery.
You said boot camp that gives you Security Plus after paying how much money?
40.
That's a whole nother panel in itself.
Yep. So and that comes with not understanding. Like if I tell someone they can go be a cybersecurity engineer doing compliance and doing infrastructure as code or compliance as code, what does that mean? What does that look like? How do you break that down? How do you do automation? What is Splunk? What does it mean? What does it look like to work at CrowdStrike? What does it look like to work at Yale at their security department? What does it look like to work at a HBCU at their security department? What does it look like to work for a school district in their security department? Those things and those avenues are not really broadcasted, and they're not really shown. What you hear is I can go work at Facebook, I can go work at Instagram, I can go work at Twitter, but all of these other places need cybersecurity. It's across the board. It's just across the board. And so I think there needs to be a better way to decipher and give the nuances of where the actual opportunities are at, the actual training to get to that is tangible. It's really tangible, but I don't think that's really something that people are really pulling together, because I've seen a lot of students come out with a degree from wherever they're coming out from, and they have no idea how to even spin up a EC2 instance, and they have no idea what cloud security means, but they have a 3.9 GPA.
And probably a certification.
Yep.
Well, it is 7 minutes till, and the question I want to ask before we start wrapping it up is, what organizations should minorities be involved in that you believe is vital to their growth personally and professionally? I'll ask it again. What organizations outside of BWIC should minority individuals be involved in that you believe is vital to their growth personally and professionally?
I'll go ahead and go. So I believe that you should join organizations that are definitely cyber related and, minorities and women, all the organizations that we have tonight. In addition to that, women in cybersecurity, women in technology are great organizations. I'm in the federal government, so federally employed women is another organization. Blacks in Government. And then I have Toastmasters, which is back on the soft skills, which improves your communication skills, because we know that's important, not only just in your career, but in all aspects of your life. So those are the organizations I would recommend.
I can't say all the organizations I would recommend. I can say go learn to speak at conferences. Build your own personal wealth by speaking at conferences, in terms of when you are speaking at conferences. One, it makes you do research. The other one, if you put on a workshop. But the other piece to this is now you now have your own, I don't necessarily want to call it a brand, but you have your name out there. So when people look you up, they know and identify who you are. Now you've created this other entity of yourself, where now you can then walk into a situation and people researched you, and now they're like, oh, I know you from this conference, or oh, I know you from this. So I would say start speaking at conferences, not necessarily joining organizations. You can join organizations, but build your own personal brand. But I'm also a mindset of, if you're technical, be as technical as you can be as geeky as you want to be. Don't be afraid to do that, and build upon that. That would be my take.
So for me, I didn't really start joining organizations until I think like 2 to 3 years into like my cybersecurity career. But I think like one of the most important thing is to have like somebody as like your mentor in the field. So I remember when I first started out, I went on LinkedIn and I looked at somebody's like, background information, something like, like I aspire to be, and I reached out to them and asked them like if they can be my mentor. And then like pretty much that's how I got started into the field. And I feel like that really helped me. So I think having a mentor. So if you do join those organizations, then find somebody within that organization that can mentor you, and that somebody that you look up to and would like to have like their skill set. So I think that's like one of the important things, having like some kind of mentorship, no matter where you're at in your career or your personal life as well.
Any other words of wisdom? I don't want to cut anyone off.
Never take the first offer that is given to you.
Okay, I think that's really good. I think I made that mistake with my first job. I just jumped right on it, didn't even realize I should have negotiated. And that starts you out in a much slower place of negotiation. Because then when it's time for salary increase, you're already starting low, and they only give you a little bit at a time unless you go to another company. So that's a good one. Thank you, Tamika.
You're welcome. And I don't know if you all are aware as well too, there is a floating Google Doc it's been going on for like 2 or 3 years now, of anonymous cybersecurity salaries.
Oh.
Yep. So they range anywhere from 100,000 up to 3 million on these salaries. So it's been floating around now for about 2 or 3 years, and it gets updated every year, and it's from various regions around the world. So just FYI, I think I have it. If I find it in my Slack, I'll post it again.
Yes, please.
Wow. I was going to say, the power of networking. Remember, someone is always watching you. So just the power of networking. So it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Remember that.
Sure.
Yep.
Especially now when you can't meet people in person.
Yeah, and that's why I say speak at conferences, because that gets you on the speaker circuit of who's working at what, meaning people who are doing cybersecurity at Indeed, and people who are doing cybersecurity for autonomous cars, people who are doing cybersecurity for for satellites, being able to just be, you know, in the room and having a conversation, exchanging emails, exchanging information. What is your company doing? Hey, can I take a quick second and chat with you to X, Y, and Z, and then go on from there. So that's why I say you get in, and you get the chance to travel too. I've gotten a chance to travel over to Amsterdam to keynote in Amsterdam for a conference, and then you have people that come up to you from Amsterdam that want you to come there and work, or they want you to come do a training or a workshop for them. So it's just a different nuance of just another way to create and strategize your career for yourself.
Okay. Okay. I think this was really, really great. I really appreciate all of you being here with us this evening. I'm looking forward to hosting more panels. We had a lot of great participants on YouTube. We had a lot of great questions and really appreciated you all's advice to them. Before we wrap it up, I want to make sure and announce that we're going to have our Black Women in Cyber CTF starting at 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and the link will be in the YouTube chat, and I'm sure we will post it on Twitter as well. Thank you, all of you. Yep, it's there. The link is live.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
this
you
is
so
Alex
much.
once again. Thanks again for coming out, and it's been a pleasure getting to know